Okay, let's talk hormones. I know that hormones are an issue for many people and they want to know how these things are impacting and how to understand them. If you want the simplest way to think about hormones, think about your local mailman, right? Hormones just send letters. That's all they do. So here's an example. We have ways on our body to perceive the outside world. We can see, we can hear, we can taste, we can touch, we can feel temperature differences and things like that. We have these senses that allow us to see about stress in the outside world. So let's say a bear, we're walking in the woods and a bear jumps out, our eyes see it, and we have to tell ourselves inside the body how to respond. So our brain writes a letter and it sends a letter to the pituitary gland and it says, hey, pituitary gland, we're gonna have to do something to deal with this bear. And then the pituitary gland sends its own messages. Maybe it sends a text message to the adrenal glands, and maybe it sends another text message to the thyroid gland and says, hey, adrenal, hey, thyroid, we're gonna need you to tell the cells to release some fat and sugar so we can run or fight if we need to. And then, of course, the adrenal glands send a direct message here, and the thyroid sends a direct message as well. This is very much like text, DM, and social media, all these things. They're just sending messages that say, hey, cell, release some fat and release some sugar. So hormones send instructions around the body. Now, here's an interesting thing, right? People oftentimes say, well, my hormones are messed up. And they're confused about that. How would you know? Should you get a blood test or something like that? Well, all these hormones have corresponding biofeedback sensations. So if you think about this funny little acronym I use all the time called SCHMEC, sleep, hunger, mood, energy, and cravings, these are all hormonal sensations. Hormones impact things like sleep and hunger and mood and energy and cravings. And so when your SCHMEC is in check, this usually tells you that your hormonal system is in balance and under good functioning. But when SCHMEC goes out of check, that typically tells you that you're going to be under stress and your hormonal system is having trouble keeping up. And this is why oftentimes when we talk about weight loss and fat loss and optimizing body composition, we talk about wanting two things. One, we want SCHMEC in check, meaning hormonal metabolic balance. And two, we want sustained calorie reduction. But here's the interesting thing, right? How are you going to have sustained calorie reduction if you're hungry all the time, craving all the time, and having energy fluctuations and you can't sleep? These things, by their very nature, cause you to overeat. And so this is what you want to be focusing on, these two things. And you want to understand that you don't need a blood test to look at your hormones. All you need to do is understand, is SCHMEC in check or not? And this tells you an awful lot about hormones. Look, insulin, cortisol, adrenaline, thyroid, they all impact energy. Cortisol is definitely a hormone that is associated with cravings. Insulin resistance causes hunger issues. Things like GLP and GIP-1, these little stomach hormones, help us feel more satisfied and less hungry. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone can impact mood. Melatonin, other hormones impact sleep. These are hormonal sensations that you want to pay attention to. Hormones are instructing the body about how to respond. You can read those hormones through understanding whether your SCHMEC is in check or not, and then you can more easily achieve these calorie deficits that are needed to burn fat. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about how hormones work.